Look around you. I mean, truly look. Choose any setting. A high-stakes boardroom, a tense family dinner, or a casual gathering of friends. In this room, there are 10 people. 9 of them are functioning like sophisticated sleepwalkers. They react. They wait for permission. They crave validation like a drug. They are terrified of silence and are utter slaves to the chemical fluctuations of their own emotions. They believe they are making choices, but they aren't. They are merely following a pre-written script authored by their biology, their parents, and a society that benefits from their docility. They are pieces on a board, moving according to rules they never questioned. But there is one person, only one, who isn't playing the same game. This person is the observer. They see the invisible threads. They hear the things left unsaid. Before you even open your mouth, they know exactly what you want and, more importantly, exactly what you're afraid of. This person doesn't seek approval. They seek leverage. They don't react to chaos. They harvest it. This person is a player. And the brutal truth is this: unless you actively learn to think like them, you will forever be their pawn. Most people spend their entire lives wondering why they work so hard yet never truly get ahead. They watch the loud, the incompetent, or the seemingly ruthless climb the ladder, while they, the good people, are left to deal with the fallout. They tell themselves it's bad luck. They tell themselves the system is broken. They lie to themselves to avoid the stinging reality. You were trained to be harmless. You were taught that being a victim is a moral virtue. Niccolo Machiavelli, whose name became synonymous with evil, was actually history's most honest philosopher. He didn't write about how the world should be. He wrote about how the world is. He understood a fundamental law that 90% of people ignore to their own detriment. In a world where so many are not good, a man who tries to be good in everything will inevitably come to ruin. This is not a guide on how to be a villain. This isn't about hurting people. This is about an awakening. This is about migrating from the 90% who feel to the 10% who calculate. I am going to give you the keys to the kingdom of your own mind. We are going to strip away the illusions of justice, kindness, and vulnerability that you use as shields, because those shields are made of paper. By the end of this journey, you will see patterns where others see noise. You will see leverage where others see relationships. You will see the game. And for the first time in your life, the dice will be in your hands. But be warned, once you see the threads, you can never unsee them. Chapter 1. The Hallucination of Morality. The first mistake you make, the mistake that costs you money, respect, and peace of mind, is the hallucination. You live in a dream. You enter negotiations, relationships, and conflicts based on how you think people ought to behave. You think, if I am honest, they will be honest. If I work harder than everyone else, they will notice and reward me. If I sacrifice for them, they will remain loyal. This is the idealist's trap. It is lethal. Machiavelli wrote, "A man who wishes to make a profession of goodness in everything must necessarily come to grief among so many who are not good." Read that again. He isn't saying you shouldn't be kind. He is saying that if you rely on your goodness to protect you, you are entering a lion's den, wearing a sweater. The 90% project their own values onto others. If you are kind-hearted, you assume everyone is. If you explain your feelings, you assume the other person cares. You assume justice is a natural law of the universe. It is not. Justice is a human invention. Power is a natural law. To outthink the 90%, you must stop wishing reality were different and start seeing it for what it is. When someone betrays you, do not waste a single second asking, how could they do this? That is an emotional question. It is useless. Instead, ask the Machiavellian question, what did they gain? People act in their own self-interest, always. Even when they are being altruistic, they are often doing it for the dopamine hit of feeling righteous. Once you understand this, you stop feeling pain. You stop being shocked. You start predicting. A Machiavellian is never shocked when a boss fires them to save a penny, or when a partner leaves for someone of higher status. They expect it. They know human nature is fickle, greedy, and driven by fear. It sounds cynical. It sounds cold. But ask yourself, who is safer? The person who believes the ocean loves them, or the person who respects the ocean's power to drown them? The second person builds a boat. The first person drowns while praying. You need to build a boat. Stop listening to what people say. Words are cheap. Words were designed to manipulate, cover up, and deceive. Pay attention to what they do. If their words say, I love them, but their actions say, I don't respect you, believe the actions. If their words say, we are a family here, but their actions say, you are replaceable, believe the actions. The moment you drop your moral expectations of how the world should treat you, you become invisible to their manipulation. You become a realist. And in a room full of dreamers, the realist is king. Chapter 2. The Lethal Weapon of Silence. We live in the age of noise. Everyone is screaming. Look at social media. Look at the comment sections. Look at your friends at a bar. Everyone is trying to tell you who they are, what they think, and what they plan to do. They are leaking information. They think that by speaking, they are asserting dominance. They think that by explaining, they are gaining understanding. They are wrong. Every word you speak is a leak. Every time you explain yourself, you are giving your enemy ammunition. Machiavelli knew that the most powerful person in the room is usually the quietest. Why? Because information is power, and when you speak, you give power away. When you listen, you gain it. The 90% feel uncomfortable in silence. Try this. The next time you are talking to someone and they finish a sentence, don't answer immediately. Wait. Look at them. Maintain eye contact. Count to 4 in your head. Watch what happens. They will panic. Their brain will interpret the silence as a judgment or a loss of connection. To fill that void, they will start talking again. And this time, they will tell you the truth. They will add a detail they didn't want to share. They will justify a lie. They will reveal an insecurity. Silence is a vacuum. Humans are terrified of vacuums. They will throw anything into that void to fill it, even their own secrets. A Machiavellian uses silence as a weapon. They don't feel the need to fill the room. They are comfortable with tension. When you are attacked, when someone insults you or questions you, your instinct, the 90% instinct, is to defend yourself. I didn't mean it that way, or you don't understand. Stop. When you defend yourself, you validate the attack. You show that their opinion is valuable to you. You show that they have the power to disturb your emotional state. Instead, use the void. Look at them. Say nothing. Or ask a simple, calm question. Why did you feel the need to say that? And then wait. Watch them crumble. Watch them backpedal. By refusing to engage at their level, you place yourself above them. You become the judge. They become the defendant. The 10% move in silence. Telling your plans to the world creates friction. If you tell a friend you're starting a business, they will project their own fears onto you. Is it safe? What if you fail? Now you are carrying their doubts along with your own. If you tell an enemy, they will sabotage you. If you tell the world, you get a dopamine hit. You feel like you've already achieved the goal just by saying it. And that satisfaction kills your drive to actually do the work. Hide your intentions. Let people think you are ordinary. Let them think you are lazy. Let them think you are a fool. It is better to be underestimated than to be a target. Machiavelli advised the prince to be a great pretender and dissembler. Be a fog. When you are like fog, they cannot aim at you. They swing their arms, exhaust themselves, and then you strike. Chapter 3. Sprezzatura, the strategic mask. Now, a warning. If you are too cold, too silent, or too distant, you become a target in a different way. People fear a silent man, and if they fear you too much, they will try to eliminate you preemptively. To outmaneuver the 90%, you must blend in. You must wear a mask. But not the mask you imagine. Most people wear masks to hide their flaws. They pretend to be perfect, rich, or happy. This is amateur. It breeds envy. The Machiavellian wears a mask of humanity. They exploit strategic weakness. If you appear too competent, too perfect, or too cold, people will hate you. You trigger their insecurities. You remind them of their own mediocrity. To disarm them, you must occasionally show a flaw, but a flaw of your choosing. Admit to a small mistake. Confess a minor worry. Ask for advice on a question you already know the answer to. Why? Because when you ask someone for advice, you give them a sense of wisdom. You give them a sense of superiority. And when someone feels superior to you, they drop their guard. They stop seeing you as a threat and start seeing you as a protégé or a friend. By feeding their ego, you buy their trust. This is the art of the courtier. Machiavelli's contemporary Castiglione wrote about sprezzatura, the art of making the difficult look easy. But Machiavelli adds a darker layer, the art of making the calculated look natural. The 90% believe that being yourself is a virtue. I just need to be me, they say. This is laziness. Being yourself is fine when you are alone, but when you are in the world, you are a character on a stage. If you are angry, but the situation requires charm and you choose to be yourself and scream, you have lost. You allowed your emotions to override the outcome. The 10% are not themselves. They create themselves. They ask, what version of me does this situation require to win? Does it require a lion, aggressive, dominant force, or a fox, cunning, pleasant, and a resourceful diplomat? Most people have only one mode. The sovereign shifts between them effortlessly. This feels fake to you. I can hear you thinking it. It feels like psychopathy. It isn't. It is emotional maturity. A parent doesn't act naturally when their child is crying. The parent might be tired, angry, or scared, but they wear the mask of a calm protector. They play the role because the outcome, the child's safety, is more important than their current true feelings. Apply this to everything. Your boss screams at you. Your true self wants to scream back. Your strategic self knows that will get you fired, so you wear a professional mask. You nod. You take notes. You survive. And then you plan your exit or your ascent. The mask protects you. It creates a barrier between your true soul and the world's dirty games. If you show the world your true heart, they will break it. If you show them a mask, they will only scratch the paint. Save your truth for the very few who deserve it, those who are willing to bleed for you. For everyone else, show them what they need to see to get what you want. This isn't deception, it's camouflage. And in the jungle, camouflage isn't a lie, it's survival. Chapter 4. Weaponizing Your Enemies. Now we come to the uncomfortable part, the part your parents warned you about. Most people spend their lives trying to please everyone. They think if they have no enemies, they are winning the game of life. They are wrong. If you have no enemies, it means you have no character. It means you stand for nothing. You are a leaf blowing in the wind, agreeing with everyone, and challenging no one. Machiavelli knew that enemies are not just inevitable, they are necessary. The 90% are crushed by criticism. A negative comment ruins their week. A rival at work makes them anxious. They try to appease the enemy. They try to make peace. The outsider uses the enemy. Think about it. Who tells you the truth? Your friends? No. Your friends lie to you. They tell you that you look great even when you look tired. They tell you your bad idea has potential because they don't want to hurt your feelings. They overlook your weaknesses because they love you. But your enemy? Your enemy looks for your weaknesses like a hungry dog. If there is a crack in your armor, your enemy will find it. If you are lazy, they will exploit it. If you are insecure, they will pounce on it. Your enemy is your greatest auditor. Instead of being angry at hate, study it. Why did they attack you there? Is it because you are actually weak in that area? If so, thank them. They just showed you exactly what needs to be upgraded. Are they attacking you because you are winning? If so, thank them. They are confirming your status. A lion does not care what sheep think, but a lion watches the hyenas, not out of fear, but out of strategy. You must develop anti-fragility. This is a concept from Nassim Taleb, but it is purely Machiavellian. Fragile things break under stress. Strong things stay the same under stress. Anti-fragile things get stronger under stress. The 90% are fragile. You insult them, they break. You must be anti-fragile. When someone doubts you, use that spite as fuel. There is no fuel in the universe purer than the desire to prove someone wrong. Do not fear conflict. Conflict is a forge. If you find yourself in a room where everyone agrees with you, you are in the wrong room. You are stagnating. Go where the knives are. That is where you will sharpen your skills. Chapter 5. The Alchemy of Time and Patience. Here is the greatest addiction of our age. It's not drugs, it's not pornography, it's not sugar. It is the present moment. We live in a culture of instant gratification, same-day delivery, high-speed internet, swipe left, 15-second videos. The 90% have lost the ability to perceive time. They cannot see beyond next week. They work out for 3 days, don't see abs, and quit. They start a business, don't make $1 million in the first month, and quit. They send a text, and if they don't get a reply in 5 minutes, they spiral. They are trapped in the prison of the now. Machiavelli plays the long game. He understood that true power is compound interest. To outmaneuver the 90%, you simply need to expand your time horizon. While they are trying to make a quick buck, you are building a foundation. While they are reacting to the daily news cycle, you are studying history. This requires a special kind of suffering, the pain of patience. Patience is not passivity. Patience is actively warring against your own impulses. It is holding back when you want to grab. It is keeping quiet when you want to scream. It is working in the dark for 5 years so you can shine for 50. There is a concept called The marshmallow test. Children were offered one marshmallow now, or two, if they could wait 15 minutes. The children who couldn't wait grew up to be disorganized, stressed, and unsuccessful. But the children who waited, they ran the world. You are taking the marshmallow test every single day. The 90% eat the marshmallow immediately. They take the easy job. They buy the car they can't afford to look rich. They cheat on their partners for a night of pleasure. They mortgage their future to satisfy the present. The Machiavellian does the opposite. They pay for their future with the currency of the present. They look at a decision and ask, will this matter in 10 years? If the answer is no, they ignore it. If the answer is yes, they become obsessed with it, become a time traveler. When you feel an overwhelming urge to react, to surrender, or to give in to your desires, project yourself 5 years into the future. Look back at this moment. Will you be happy you gave in, or proud you stood your ground? The ability to delay gratification is the most accurate predictor of success. It is a literal superpower because almost no one else has it. Be the kind of person who plants a tree knowing they will never sit in its shade, but knowing their children will own the forest. That is how legacies are built. Everyone else is just accumulating debt. Chapter 6. Rational Egoism and the Myth of Sacrifice. We are taught that selfishness is a sin. We are taught to give until we are depleted, to be martyrs, to be nice guys. Machiavelli despised this idea. He argued that if you are weak, you can help no one. Look at the nice guys. Look at the people who always say yes. Are they happy? Are they respected? No. They are burnt out. They are bitter. They are used like doormats and secretly hate the people they are helping. They give conditionally. They give because they want praise or because they want to be seen as good. That isn't kindness. It's cowardice. To outmaneuver the 90%, you must embrace rational self-interest. This means putting your own oxygen mask on first. You prioritize your health, your mind, your finances, and your mission. You say no without guilt. No is a complete sentence. When you say yes to something you don't want to do, you are saying no to yourself. You are betraying your own time, the only resource you can never get back. The 90% are terrified of being called selfish. Let them call you selfish, because here is the paradox. Only those who are full can truly give. When you have built your power, your wealth, and your stability, you can change lives. You can help people out of a sense of abundance, not a sense of duty. A beggar cannot give money to the poor. A weak man cannot protect the innocent. You must be strong first. This requires a period of ruthlessness, a period of isolation where you purge the parasites from your life. You will lose friends. You will upset family members who were used to using you. Good. You are pruning the dead branches so the tree can grow. Machiavelli wrote, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." Why? Because love is fickle. People love you as long as you are useful to them. But respect, fear, that is permanent. Don't try to be liked by everyone. Aim for respect. And respect is earned by setting boundaries and being willing to sacrifice your own likability to protect them. Stop setting yourself on fire to keep others warm. You are not a candle. You are the sun. You burn for yourself, and your gravity keeps everything else in orbit. Chapter 7. Emotional Alchemy, the Sovereign Mind. We have reached the final lesson, the lesson that ties it all together. The fundamental difference between the player and the pawn isn't money, it isn't connections, it isn't IQ. It is emotional alchemy. The 90% are slaves to their chemistry. Something bad happens, they feel sad, they quit. Something annoying happens, they feel angry, they lash out. They are biological robots. Input equals output. The Machiavellian breaks this chain. They understand that emotions are just energy. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be transferred. Pain is energy. High voltage energy. Anger is energy. It is nuclear. The average person wastes this energy. They cry, they complain, they pour their heart out to friends, they drink alcohol to numb it. They let the energy leak out until they are empty again. The exception catches that energy. They build a fortress in their mind. When they are insulted, they don't scream. They take that hot ball of rage and funnel it into the engine of their work. They work harder. They get smarter. "I will show them" is the most powerful motivator in human history. When they feel emotional pain, they don't descend into despair. They take that crushing sadness and transform it into art, into philosophy, into physical transformation. This is alchemy, turning lead into gold, turning pain into power. You must perceive your emotions as tools, not truths. Feeling fear doesn't mean you are in danger. It just means your body is preparing you for a challenge. Feeling tired doesn't mean you should stop. It means you need to find a deeper reserve. The 90% let their feelings determine their actions. "I don't feel like it today." Who cares what you feel? The 10% let their actions determine their feelings. They do the work, and the feeling of pride follows. You must be the observer of your own mind. Imagine sitting in a control room. You see anger building on the screen. The 90% smash the console. You look at the screen and say, "Interesting. High energy detected. Rerouting to the drive sector." This is the ultimate freedom. When you can no longer be affected by your own biology, you can no longer be affected by others. You are untouchable. You are the prince of your own soul, the silent king. Conclusion: the view from the peak. What happens when you apply these 7 laws? When you see reality naked? When you use silence as a weapon? When you wear the mask? When you harvest your enemies? When you master time? When you prioritize your power? And when you transmute your pain, you don't become a monster. You become a sovereign. You walk into a room and you don't need to speak the loudest. You don't need to prove anything. You know the game. You see the threads. You see someone boasting out of insecurity, and you feel pity, not envy. You see a manipulator trying to charm you, and you feel amusement, not attraction. You see the chaos of the world, and you feel calm, not panic. This is what it means to outthink 90% of people. It's not about getting a higher score on a test. It's about waking up from a trance. Most people are drowning in the storm. You have learned how to walk on water. It is a lonely path. I won't lie to you. The air is thinner up here. The crowds are gone. But the view is worth everything. You have left the herd. You have abandoned the script. You are no longer a character in someone else's story. You are the author. But be careful, because the moment you think you've mastered it all is the moment you are most vulnerable. The game never ends. Your ego is waiting for you to become arrogant, to think you are better than them. And the moment you look at the 90% with contempt instead of understanding, you become one of them again, just another human reacting to his own pride. A true master is always a student, always observing, always learning, always guarding the fortress. The cage door is open. You are out. Don't go back just because you miss the company. Keep going, into the dark, into the depths. That is where the treasure is. If this opened your eyes, understand that these are only the things I can share with the public. There are videos I cannot upload for everyone. There are aspects of dark psychology that I cannot discuss openly without being censored or demonetized. The algorithm suppresses the most vital information. It stays behind the join button. If you are still here, you are different. If you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe. But if you want to discover what is hidden, if you want to enter the architect level, click that join button. You will unlock exclusive uncensored videos that go deeper into the mechanics of the human mind than anything else on this platform. Most people won't do it, but then again, that's the whole point. I am Mind Tactics. Stay sharp, stay silent, stay sovereign.